Sir. Oh, so baru kat join ni.
Okay. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay. I will just present a little bit in the beginning. Then later on will be more on mutual sharing and discussion. Now, I will not do the summarizing of what we are going to do today is actually summarize chapter 1 to 4, and I'll explain why. Okay, I will go through some basic, which is not from the book, by the way. What I'm going to go through is from others. So some of you have gone through before, some of you haven't. This what I'm going to go through today is the short few slides at the beginning is very, very important. Very important. Why? Also explain why I want to spend some time to summarize. Also explain the way the book is arranged and why it is so important for us to understand and appreciate the arrangement of the chapters in the book. Okay. To straight away go through that, we need to understand some basis of the result of our behavior. I think to help us to understand outcome of life. Basically, outcome of life. Now, when we are dealing with this topic on the meaning of marriage, I think the whole mindset is that we all would like to have a good marriage. I don't think any one of us would want to go into something and not have good results coming out of it. So these few slides that I'm going to talk about the principle of good results doesn't just apply to marriage, but here it applies to marriage in a very important way, because marriage plays a very significant role in life. Now, I don't because of the impact of marriage to life. I think all of us want a good marriage. There's no question about it. Now, a good marriage is a result of behavior, because behavior creates results. Okay, behavior is not just the action, the conscious action we take. Behavior is also the reaction we have. Okay, the subconscious behavior that we have. It's all behavior that we express consciously or unconsciously. Okay, and those little by little add up to give rise to the results that we experience in it. Right? So in order for us to experience good result, which is at the end of the day probably a happy marriage, marriage that not only is happy for the husband and wife, but also a good marriage which result in a good family environment for children. Now, we need to understand a good marriage is the foundation for a good family to the children. Okay? A broken marriage will impact significantly the upbringing for the children. So even more so, the importance of maintaining or achieving a good marriage it's something that we all strive, because the repercussion doesn't just impact 2%, but it impacts the next generation. Now, we need to understand it's our behavior, our everyday behavior. Our behavior before marriage, and our behavior during marriage, and our behavior as a husband or a wife, and our behavior as a father or a mother. And it keeps on going. Okay? Now, so behavior creates results. But we also need to understand where the source of behavior is. The behavior comes from our mind. Our mind is the one that controls our behavior. Or more specifically, the framework of our mind. Our mind only houses the mindset, the way we think. Okay? In Stephen Covey's book, we call it a paradigm or worldview and principles. Okay? Or in other way of explaining, it is a philosophy of life. Or your psychology. Okay? Now, basically, we need to understand is our mindset. That is the framework, the way we put together all the knowledge and understanding that we have accumulated in life and seek to use as a basis for deciding how to live our life. We all have this kind of mindset. We all have mindset. Now, this mindset, this framework, this way of thinking, or this philosophy of life, our interpretation of the meaning of life and how life works, is the one that gives rise to the decision we make on how we will behave. Now, what is more important is the habitual mindset. Those who have gone through the attitude class, you understand there is a big difference between a conscious mindset and subconscious mindset, or the habitual mindset. The habitual mindset is the mindset that we have already implanted deep into our subconscious mind, that subconsciously is like autopilot that drives our decision making. We need to understand that. Now, if we apply it to marriage, it's our mindset of marriage that drives, that leads to how we behave in marriage or towards marriage. And that is going to create the results that we will experience in marriage. This is very important. So, if we need to understand this carefully, very important. Which this is what a lot of the people out there are doing. Whenever we see things not working out the way we want it to work, when we see that we are not achieving the results we want, we recognize that it is the way we do things or our behavior. And very often, we have a tendency to just quickly try to change our behavior without focusing on changing our understanding, or without, more specifically, changing our mindset, or more specifically, changing our habitual mindset. The way we think and understand that topic of life that leads to the behavior. So we recognize that our action, right, is causing the result. And if we focus on trying to change our action, right, without looking at changing our mindset or our behavior, our mindset, or especially our habitual mindset, what's going to happen is that our mindset will pull. Our mindset didn't change. Our mindset habitually will still, right, because it's a habitual mindset, because it's a subconscious mindset. So subconsciously, we will still come out with a behavior that is consistent with our habitual mindset. So if our habitual mindset is wrong, it will keep giving us an action that is not appropriate. So our change, it creates resistance to changing our behavior. Why? Very simple. Our mindset keeps asking us to do that same thing, do that thing, do that thing. But yet that thing is the old thing that we have been doing. And we know that the old thing is not giving us a result. So we want to do the new thing. So consciously we want to do the new thing. But subconsciously we are still directing us to do the old thing. We are all living based on our subconscious mind 90% of our time. We don't have energy to keep living 24 hours a day based on conscious mind. We don't. We are living based on our subconscious mindset most of the time. And that's why most of the time we fall back. That's why the mindset will pull back into our behavior. Now, you see this happening in our life one, which is why when we recognize certain bad habit and we want to change the bad habit, you find it very hard to change the bad habit, correct? 1 day, 2 days, fine. After 1 week, what happened? Wow, so difficult. Why I keep falling? And then I blame myself and then I feel very guilty. After a while, I give up. Why? Reason is very simple. Because your habitual mindset is still the same. If you did not change the habitual mindset will keep instructing us, directing us to do the old behavior, to act based on the old behavior. So what do we need to do? The effective way is to change the mindset. Focus on changing the mindset. Now, how do we focus on changing the mindset? Very simple. We must consciously come up with new knowledge and understanding. And then we must keep repeating, memorizing, repeating, reminding until the new mindset replaces the old. So that our old mindset is no longer there. It has shifted and it has modified and it has improved into the new mindset. And your new mindset, every time you act, you are in any situation, the new mindset will respond to the situation. Based on the new mindset, it creates new behavior. If your new mindset is correct, then it gives rise to a better or more correct behavior. And your more correct behavior will automatically create better result. That's why this is very important for us to understand. And if you, so basically based on this understanding, if you want to successfully improve your life, right, we must learn to do the right thing, but the right thing must be based on correct mindset, correct knowledge and understanding. Okay? Once you have a correct knowledge, understanding, then it leads to correct motivation, and then it leads to a more correct behavior, and the more correct behavior will lead to better result. Now, why am I going to this? Now, most of us want to answer the question, how marriage works. Why we want to answer this question? Very simple. Because marriage plays a very significant a part in every one of our life, or not everyone, in most of our life. In fact, if you think about it carefully, marriage can marriage impact at least 50% of our life if we do get married. For most of us, when we do get married, marriage actually impact more than 50% of our life. You think about it, on average, most people get married, in around 30 years old? Some younger, some slightly older, right? But I put an average, say, around 30 years old. Right? Now, if I look at an average lifespan of a person, it's about 70 years old. If they married around 30 years old and they live until 70 years old, 40 years of their life is married, in a married environment. 30% is not. Okay? And that's why we all want to answer this question. How to make marriage work? How to make marriage work well? But how to make marriage work well is actually the behavior part. It's the action part. Now, if we understand this principle, that the driving force of our behavior is the mindset, then this is not the important question to ask, but rather this: what marriage means. And if you think about it carefully, this is where a lot of people out there rarely ask this question. We all assume what marriage is. Marriage is something that everybody goes through. It's where two persons come together. But this question is dealing with the mindset, the understanding. How are we going to, if we look at, we all recognize that marriage got a lot of problems today. In America, already more than 50% of the people experience some kind of divorce. In Malaysia, based on statistics, already more than 30%. That means 1/3. That means 1 out of 3 persons. In other words, in this study group, right, 2 or 3 of you have a possibility of experiencing divorce. So if 2 or 3 of you have a possibility of experiencing divorce, and yet we don't understand what is the driving mindset, then what chance do we have? What are the do you think it's a good risk to take, where you have at least 33% failure? Now, this does not include unhappy marriage. Huh? If I were to ask the question, right, how many of us have good examples of marriage when we look at our parents? I don't think any of us can confidently say we have. So not only do we have a high risk of getting divorced, we also have a high risk of experiencing bad marriages. Why? Why is the world going through such big problem? If we understand this principle, we will need to understand that something is very wrong with the understanding of what marriage means. Which is why this book becomes so crucial. Now you understand why the meaning of marriage, why I straight away promote this and encourage all of you all to take it. And in fact, I don't only encourage those planning marriage, I also encourage those who are not planning marriage, who even if you don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Why? Because if you think about it, because there is a big misunderstanding of what marriage really means. And if you have a misunderstanding of what marriage means, then you have a likelihood of coming with of coming out with poor behavior, because the behavior arises from the mindset, from our knowledge and understanding, from our habitual knowledge and understanding. So the behavior that arises from the poor knowledge and understanding of what marriage is, what chances it has to give good results. That's why if we I don't know. So far, if you have gone through this, we all have gone through chapter 1 to 4. And you have at least now gone through Timothy Keller's explanation of the meaning of marriage. My first question I want to ask you basically is this. Did you find the explanation of the meaning of marriage by Timothy Keller different from your previous understanding of marriage that is from, I don't know, from where? From our parents, from what people say, from social media, from magazine, from movies? Did you find a significant difference in your knowledge and understanding that is explained from the first 4 chapters of this book compared to what you previously know? Now, this is a very important question for us to meditate on, because if there is, then you have a significant task ahead. How do you now implant this difference, right, into your habitual mindset so that it now habitually drives your behavior based on a better meaning, a better knowledge and understanding of marriage? What are the changes that you need to make in your mindset or in your habitual mindset? This is very crucial. Now, if you look at this book, that's what the first 4 chapters is. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 focuses on helping us to understand what marriage really means. Okay? And that's what we want to discuss, to make sure that every one of us understand as much as we can today before we look at some of the things that we can do to make marriage work out better, which is chapter 5, 6, 7, 8. So chapter 5, 6, 7, 8 looks at the how we can make marriage work. Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 looks at our knowledge and understanding of what marriage means. So that's why I want to make sure today to spend some time for us to remind each other, review and remind each other, or to ask questions to ensure that our knowledge understanding is clear. Subsequently, after that, it's up to you to how you will have to help each other work on implanting this knowledge and understanding into your habitual mindset, into the habitual framework, right, that's going to drive your behavior in life. Okay? Question? Can you understand what I'm saying? So need you all to respond first. Okay. Now, it is with this, I want now to open. Okay, we will go through chapter by chapter. Okay, and then we can talk. Y'all can add in whatever to help each other create a picture of what marriage means, so that at the end everybody can. So one of you can type it into the conversation there, so that you can eventually accumulate all the points. First question. Well, which is dealt with in the first chapter.
Yeah, I think it come to the end. Somehow is the people mindset is the most key one, because not every children grow up with their own parents, you know.
Oh, correct.
So I think come to
and
the
here,
back. You say.
I'm not talking about biological, you know. You have to don't get me wrong, If in any take for instance, do you realize that if a marriage is strong, it not only have influence on your children, it also have influence of other children who have an interaction with your family, because they have an example to see of the good marriage and the good family, the good husband and wife family, and that can give them an example for them to develop. So a good marriage and a good husband and wife and a good father and mother not only treat their children right, but also treat other children right. Will it impact the other children as well? And will it also impact your children acting right on other children? Yeah, so I'm saying that. The ripple effect of a drop of water. Comment, question, thoughts? Actually, what I'm trying to say here is connected to what I'm trying to share in the previous slides, all the previous slides. Yes. And in this case, it's marriage mindset. And the world today, honestly, until today, I will share with my story. I did not have a correct knowledge and understanding of what marriage is. I married because what? I was in love. I married because what? It's time to get married. I married because already pak tor so long. So what to expect? Everybody expect married. You get married. William type, husband and wife should create a mutual family habit and family goal that both of them could grow their relationship and make it something that continually enhance their life. Exactly. Now, my question for you, William, is this. You say create mutual family habit and family goal. From where are you going to create the mutual family habit and family goal? Based on what?
Isa.
Based on what?
Yes.
Based
Where
on
are you going to? Yeah. Where are you going to get the guideline for helping you to create the mutual family habit? You're right there. Correct. This
Uh-huh.
will reduce breakdown of communication. Once your husband and wife align, this is called alignment of husband and wife. When the husband and wife align in habit and goal, then you reduce conflict, right? But let me say this. Let me ask this. When you say you create a mutual family habit and family goal, based on what guideline? Where do you find the basis to create this
Bible?
mutual family habit? To me, very simple. If let me ask you, if you buy an Apple handphone, right?
Yes.
Where are you going to look to get the guideline of how to use the Apple handphone effectively?
Apple Store.
Exactly. It has to be Apple Store, not Samsung Store, not Oppo Store, right? It has to be Apple Store. Why? Because they are the creator designer. They create and design the Apple handphone. If you buy a Samsung handphone, do you go to Apple Store?
No.
No point. So my question is this. You want to create a family guideline and family goal. So my question for you is this. Who is the creator of family? Who designed family?
God.
So if God is the one who designed, if you believe God is the one who designed, now let me ask the question right now. Our parents or our friends' family, when you look out at the family out there, where do they find the guideline for them to create their family habit and family goal?
Themselves.
Very interesting. What their parents told them, what their friends told them, what tradition tell them, right? What peer pressure tell them, what their 姨媽姑姐 tell them.
Correct.
But did all this source in which our family, our parents develop their family habits and goal, did the source originally from the creator and the designer of family? That becomes my question, you know. Most of the thing, no. I agree with you. Because it's from tradition. It's from 姨媽姑姐. And from my own. I like to do it this way. Right? This is very crucial for us to understand. That's why for this book, why this is so important. This is not Timothy Keller's guideline. This is Timothy Keller show us the Bible's guideline. The Bible is written by God. So this is what Timothy show us, God's guideline. This is very important for us to understand, to recognize that right now, most of the basis of what marriage means right now out there, I'm talking about out there. What is the source of their explanation of the guideline to marriage? And what is the source of their explanation of their goal of marriage? I don't know where. I honestly don't know. Definitely a lot of it is not from Bible, which means it's not from God. So, if they are not from God, who is the creator and designer of marriage, then it's likely that it's not going to be correct. It's like trying to apply Samsung guideline to Apple. Imagine. I mean, this is not their fault. Imagine you come across an Apple handphone, but the Apple name is removed. So the brand is no longer there. You don't know it's an Apple handphone. So you came across this handphone, but it doesn't have a brand name there. And you don't know how to use the handphone. So what are you going to do? You see what I'm saying? So what are you going to do when you have a handphone that is not labeled, doesn't have a label, but you don't know how to use the handphone? There's a likelihood that you're going to look at Samsung handbook, Oppo handbook, whatever handphone handbook you can come across, but you're going to struggle because you're going to find that a lot of things doesn't work and you are not going to get the result that you would like to have from the handphone. So your experience of the handphone is not going to be nice. Now, this is exactly what is happening. People are finding marriage bad, deriving bad experience out of marriage, which is why a lot of people now are saying what? Don't want to marry. Marriage is so painful. So much problem. So, if I got so much problem, then maybe I don't marry, better than marry. Because people are already disillusioned with marriage. So my question is this. If your handphone that you have, Apple handphone that you have, that the label is gone, is it because the phone is broken? Is it because the phone is lousy? Or is it because I don't know how to use the handphone properly? Same thing here. Our problem with marriage is not because marriage is bad. It's lousy. It's irrelevant. It's not applicable anymore. It's because we don't understand the meaning of marriage and we don't comply with the proper guideline, the correct guideline of marriage. This is the first thing we need to understand. And right now, the understanding of marriage and the guideline of marriage out there, the explanation of marriage out there, if we have gone through chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you compare to what you hear of people out there explain what marriage is, you realize it is very far apart. Now that I've gone through chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I look back to 20 years ago when I was planning to get married and what my understanding of marriage is, I can tell you. Back then, I probably only know 10-20% of what I have gone through to this past month. And I wish I had gone through it then. Then probably I would have gone further in my marriage and I would have done better in creating a better family. This is very crucial. This is what chapter 1 talks about. That's why chapter 1 affirms there is a lot of problem with marriage because there is a lot of problem with the mindset of people about what marriage is. Because the mindset of people about what marriage is based on, I don't know, nothing solid. And that, once you are based on, which is what I went through in the past 5 slides, if my understanding and meaning and my basis of my understanding is wrong, my behavior will be wrong. And if my behavior is wrong, I will not be able to achieve the best result that marriage is supposed to bring. Then my question becomes this: what is the right understanding of marriage? What is the intended meaning of marriage that the Creator have created? So if you were to put it in your own words from your understanding of chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, how will you explain what marriage is according to God the Creator? Someone say from Google. Yeah, nowadays people use Google. And I can tell you, that is not necessarily a good source. Okay? And if you Google, sometimes you create conflicting sources. One source says this, another source says that. There are 1,001 opinions. What you need to find is the correct principle. Everybody has an opinion. What God intended and what God has put in place is the principle. Principle is not my opinion. Principle is the rules that govern the system that is already in place. So now my question for you is this, right? What does marriage mean? Not according to you, not according to the world out there, according to God the Creator, who instituted marriage. What does marriage mean? For those of you who are already paktoing, you must answer this question. Not necessarily to me, but you must be able to answer this question. In fact, I would encourage you that you should have answered this question properly with your other person, right? And align with your other person before you get married. In other words, one of the questions that you should discuss together and come to an agreement and probably even write it down and keep it for the rest of your marriage together is, what does marriage means to us? You should write it down and keep that. And then if you do change it as you grow in your marriage, you do change it, then change it together. Well, yeah, something like that, Agnes. Actually, it's something like that. Now, of course, you don't take out the piece of paper to hantam the other person. Because if you understand the purpose of marriage and the meaning of marriage, you wouldn't use that piece of paper to put down the person. You actually use the paper, right, to uplift the person, to bring the person, correct the person back, and get the person back onto the right track. Okay? So you are using the piece of paper as a constructive tool, not in order to win over the person. If you do that, then you are not fulfilling the meaning of marriage anyway. So that piece of paper, right, is to help each other. Help each other. So that together fulfill and achieve a better marriage. Or the marriage that God intended it to be. Hey, so nobody answered the question. What does marriage means? You've already gone through chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me do it another way. Nobody want to talk. Okay. Maybe you're still thinking. Then I have homework for you. Okay? All of you. For those of you like Agnes, Steve, or Yisa and William and Yisa, okay? Jianwei, I'm not sure for your case whether you want to include your wife or not. Okay? QQ, you have to do it alone. Sorry. Okay? I also have to do it alone. Why don't we do this? I want you to write it down on a piece of
Why
paper.
don't you and QQ do together?
Walao!
You think QQ is going to marry me?
No way!
Since you also alone.
Okay. What I want you to do is very simple. Literally write. What's the meaning of marriage? What does marriage mean? Because 5, 6, 7, 8 is how. How to accomplish this meaning of marriage. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 is what this marriage means. What marriage means. What marriage means according to God the Creator. Because God the Creator is the one who instituted marriage from the beginning of creation. Now, bear in mind, marriage was already there from the beginning. And right now, it's being destroyed. Okay? Eve was created for Adam. Not Evan was created for Adam. And yet today, you have men marrying men. You have woman marrying woman. Crazy. Okay? And when it was created like that, there is a fit. That's why we need to understand what marriage means. So anybody want to share anything about what marriage means from your understanding of chapter 1, 2, 3, 4?
Homework. This week, Raya, we do homework.
Why you all don't want to share? You don't tell me you all don't after gone through 4 chapters, you all still don't have a clear picture or some kind of improved picture that you can share.
One word,
Sacrificial love. Okay? That is... Wait. Let me answer William first. That is the basis of marriage. That is the basis of marriage. You need sacrificial love to fulfill marriage. Marriage is not sacrificial love. You need sacrificial love to fulfill marriage. So what is marriage? Okay, Jianwei.
I think just now after you explain about the what Bible got touched on one, I think is marriage is not only about me and my spouse. Instead, is I think the future also. It's like for me, it's like creating a future. It's like
Correct.
creating a future under what kind of name you want to create. No? If like you say one, I'm a Christian, meaning I'm actually creating the future of Christian in this world. Can I say it? Should be like this, or
Something
not?
like that. Yes, something like that.
For me now, it's become like this. After just now you say the word, then I think he is like creating a future for me. It's like this. The simplified word is this. Can I say? I don't know. You add on for me, or what? I don't know.
Still not enough. Still not enough. Still not enough. Remember what is the essence of marriage?
Yes. This one I
What
present
is?
one very clear.
What is the essence of marriage?
Covenant, the covenant. Then.
Okay.
Wait,
Covenant is what? What is covenant?
Covenant is a promise, future promise,
Promise of what?
future promise of. Promise of promise of love to the other, to the spouse in future, no?
Covenant is a promise of relationship.
Okay, promise.
Correct or not? It's a promise made in a relationship that applies sacrificial love, that leads to multiplication or procreation. Marriage is the deepest form of relationship. It's the deepest form of love relationship that is built with sacrificial love that leads to procreation of a good of effective procreation, meaning creating the next generation, a good next generation. But it's a relationship. It's a deepest form of a relationship. Love is the expression of what goes on in a relationship. Right? When God says God is love, then God is also a relationship God. You cannot have love without a relationship. Love only exists in relationship. I can love you only if I have a relationship with you. But how can I achieve the deepest form of love that leads to the union to become one? That level of relationship, you need to apply sacrificial love until you can reach the form of union that is, that highest, that deepest form of relationship. And that union leads to what? Procreation. Giving birth to the next generation. Or physical multiplication. The essence of marriage is a sacrificial commitment to the good of the other. Love is more action than emotion. Okay. Sacrificial commitment. Now, that's why one thing very important for us to always bear in mind is this: we are not. That's why when Adam was alone, When Adam was created and he was alone, Adam first, alone, what did God say? Everything was good. God created the sun, the moon, the earth, the water, the plants, the animals. Everything was good. And then when God created Adam, haven't created Eve yet. When God created Adam, no good. Not complete. Why? Alone cannot have relationship. Cannot express love. So, to be complete, Eve comes into the picture, only complete, become complementing. And when you bring two complementing together, you have a relationship which allows expression of love. And when you express sacrificial love, right, it leads to the highest form of relationship where union of two become one. And that's what oneness is. You think about it now, when two persons have so much in common and so much understanding for each other and so much instinct for each other, you can almost say that they are one in heart, mind, and soul. Correct?
Correct.
And that's what you want to achieve in any form of relationship. The highest form of relationship. You cannot achieve that with many, many people.
So there's a saying
so marriage,
that when the one person feels move a bit, another one will know already. That level.
Yes.
Sing.
That level of union. In sync, yes, correct. That's why the complementing, the union is so strong. And that's what you want to achieve. And that's only achieved through sacrificial love. And can you imagine when you have that, and then your children is born, and your children grow up in that setting, with that foundation of a family, and the child see that, experience that, and experience the wholeness of what he will one day become, that peace that will eventually be in union with another one to create that relationship again. So that one person grow up, the male or the female grow up in the family where you see the union. So for a son, the son sees the father and how the father unites with the mother, right? And so the son will have that identity, right? The self-esteem that will grow into the man that will become the man suitable for a union with a woman who also grow up in another such setting to grow into a strong, stable, proper self-esteem woman. And they two will unite to create the union of the relationship, the love relationship, the sacrificial relationship, the covenantal relationship that again leads to the procreation of other men and women. That's what marriage is. I hope I explained. Any question? Can visualize, can capture, can grasp what I'm saying or not? This is what I can gather from chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. And so to do that, think about it, to do that, the man must focus on the woman and understanding, growing and bringing up the woman as the man himself grow. And the woman must also look to the man in sacrificial love to help the man grow so that the man can grow in union with the woman. So both are helping the other. So the man is, that's why the man focus will become what? To bring the woman up to better and better. And that's what sacrificial love is. The sacrificial love is, think about it, a father's mother's sacrificial love to a child is what? To sacrifice for the well-being of the child at the expense of self. And when the husband focus on the well-being and the growth of the wife, and the wife focus on the well-being, the growth and well-being of the husband, think about it. When the opposite spouse grow, actually, he or she feels great. Because union. My counterpart, which is in union with me, is growing, so I feel great. And that's a wonderful experience of marriage. In giving and feeling great when you see the giving brings about the well-being and growth of the opposite spouse. And also in experiencing and receiving the giving that the other side is, the other spouse is also doing to you. If it is one-sided, we have already seen it. If it is one-sided, you still get to experience the greatness, the good, the wonderful experience of seeing the spouse growing. The sense of accomplishment and the sense of wonder, because in your sacrificing for your spouse who is in union with you, you see the person growing, you find that fulfillment. And that's why it ends up what is referred to as sacrificial love. You focus on, because that is what Jesus has done for us. Okay, Agnes said, but another one will be quite tired if only one person continuously gives. Yes. But you see, Agnes, not necessarily so. Why? Because we don't only have the other spouse. We have got to turn to. Because God loves us, Christ loves us in the same way. Jesus loves us in the same way. That's why he died for our redemption. And he died so that we can grow to completion. And he gave us the Holy Spirit for that purpose. Isn't Jesus one-sided? Yes. But now for us, we don't have to worry about one-sided, because why? We can turn to God. We can turn to Jesus. So, not that, yeah. But of course, if you want to talk about ideal, it's both party lah. Right? Which is why I also encourage you. Right now, none of you are married yet except for Jian Wei. Right? So Jian Wei, you have to move forward. But for Steve, Agnes, William and Isa, that's why you all need to discuss. You don't have to rush into marriage. To make sure you are in alignment, to make sure that you are mutually in covenant to grow each other. And so you don't end up one-sided. Right? Yeah. Which is what unequally yoked implies. When you are unequally yoked, you're going to get one-sided. And you're going to get very tired. Yes. Okay, Agnes, does that answer your question or your comment? Yeah. Maybe you should say, Agnes, luckily Jesus have you.
Why like Steve asked, how come like?
Now what? Jesus is the one who initiated and saved you. What? So Jesus is the one who have you on his shoulder. He's the one who went out and searched. You see, remember the picture of the shepherd? Shepherd will go out and search for the lost sheep. And when the shepherd have found any lost sheep, what does the shepherd do? The shepherd will pick up the sheep, carry the sheep over his shoulder, and carry the sheep back to the flock. This is what the shepherd will do. So, correctly speaking, right, it's Jesus who have you. Jesus have found you and carry you. So Jesus have you. We all didn't find Jesus. Jesus found us. Because we are the sheep. He is the shepherd. Okay? All we did was, when Jesus found us as a shepherd, we responded. And we let Jesus carry us. This is what mindset is all about, the perspective that we have when we look at things. So that this will lead to a different response. When we see things differently, when we understand things differently, we respond to things differently. Okay, just to give you an example, to be honest, this is something I experienced last couple of weeks when I was with Elizabeth, honestly. Actually, only happened after I studied this book. Okay. And I realized that I was much slower to be angry. Okay, with Elizabeth, that I used to be angry before last time. Now I suddenly am able to tell myself, hey, yeah, Edmund, why are you angry? You, according to Jesus, you are supposed to love. So why are you angry? And honestly, I find myself able to diffuse the reaction to be angry. So I remember telling myself, yeah, no need. So yeah, keep quiet, let myself diffuse, let the anger, the fire that want to come out fizzle away, and then I go back to normal. And it has helped to reduce the outbursts that leads to conflict. Why? Because my purpose in my relationship with Elizabeth has changed. It's not about whether I'm right or not right. It's about what I can do, right? What I can do in sacrificial love to help. To help Elizabeth, to help the marriage, to help the relationship that I have with Elizabeth, even though in my case it's divorce, right? But it's still a relationship. Why? Because it's a father and mother relationship to Ian. Okay, it's 11 plus already. Any other question, comment? And reminder, I really encourage you to do homework. Write what marriage means. Yeah, thank you. Yes. That's why I say what I do in my study actually helped me. Okay, actually helped me. No question about it. All these book study that I am initiating or I am leading, right, actually help. And honestly, it has reduced the problem that my divorce situation has, reduced the impact it has on Ian. Okay, Ian, fortunately, because of this, don't experience a significant the kind of impact that divorce can create lah. But of course, when younger, the time no lah. Younger, the time Ian see a lot lah. The conflict that I have with Elizabeth. He must be very happy. Well, not necessary. Always bear in mind, happiness is relative. He doesn't realize that his situation is not that thorough compared to other divorced couple, divorced parents, right? But fortunately, the situation allows me to actually to talk to Ian and able to help Ian see lah. I mean, I talk to, yeah. So, which is why, yeah, Ian, okay lah. Come out relatively okay. He's got his problem, but yeah lah, relatively okay lah. Yes, definitely. Cannot go back one. No problem. Cannot go back, can go forward. Which is why I also want to capitalize on my mistake to become a lesson for you all. Okay? Yeah. So I want to turn my mistake into a blessing for you. Okay, good. Okay, any question? 11:25 or 11:20 already? Any question, any comment? I hope this is a little bit helpful to summarize chapter 1, 2, 3, 4. And I hope you all will do a bit more on a personal level to make sure you have some properly written explanation of the biblical meaning of marriage, of God's meaning of marriage, so that you all can use that to build a correct mindset, a correct framework for your future behavior in marriage. Okay? Yeah. Build the correct picture in your mind, the correct perspective in your mind about marriage, so that can direct you to a good behavior, the correct behavior, a proper behavior for marriage, in marriage. Okay? So please do your homework. Yes, time to think again. Every day is a time to think again. Every week. Okay. Next week, Isa, you are taking chapter 5, huh? Okay,
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, before leaving, just a small reminder. Remember to pay the tuition fee to Jin Lee. This is just a small reminder. Other than that, no more reminder, no more nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Bye, good night.
Bye.